Alright everyone, in this video I want to talk to you about mewing while running, and I want to talk to you about how mewing and running are interconnected, about how they feed into each other, about how they benefit each other, about how running is essential to developing your mewing practice, and about how mewing is essential to developing your running practice. Both of these are totally activities that we've been evolved for, that many of us neglect in our lives, and as a result, we end up not living ideal, healthy, fulfilling, pleasureful human lives. As one person said, I forget his name, but he said, if the benefits of exercise could be put into a pharmaceutical, it would be the most valuable and the best-selling pharmaceutical on the planet, and yet so many of us neglect exercise, but that's because exercise sucks, right? It's not pleasurable. Well, running is pleasurable. We are designed to run. We are born to run, as Christopher McDougall made very clear 10 years ago in his book, Born to Run. If you run properly, it flushes the body, not only with happy chemicals once you've reached your runner's high peak, but it's also a type of meditation. And the key to that is going to be running barefoot so that you run soft, you run light on your feet. You don't have this type of high impact, rough, painful running that leads to injury. But then also, the key to running is going to be managing your breath. You want to run, as one writer says, within your breath. You don't want to exert beyond the capacity of your breath, and the key to that is going to be nasal breathing while you run. You never mouth breathe while you run, which is completely different than the way 99% of the people you see out on the streets, or even professionals often. They run with their mouth wide open, gasping for air. But mewing can help us with this aspect of running. Mewing, when we focus on mewing, we teach ourselves to breathe through our nose, to run within our breath, to breathe in warmed, humidified, filtered air as we run. And also, by mewing, we solidify the structures of our shoulders, our neck, our face, so that there's no impact on our necks when we run. And this makes running very sturdy, very rigid, and very pleasurable. So the interconnection between running and mewing, I just want to demonstrate for you here what that sort of looks like. First thing I do, I jump out of bed. I quit stimulants and coffee a couple months ago, so I jump right out of bed and I hit the treadmill. I like the treadmill better because I live on a sort of a dark, windy road, and I like to be in my body when I run. I like to have my attention on my mewing and on my feet and on my legs. I don't like to worry about whether the car coming sees me and is going to smack me. I've done plenty of road running, and I prefer the treadmill, also because it's winter here in New England and it's damn cold out, and I honestly, the hassle of dressing up to get out and go run, it deters me from even doing it. You really want to make this as convenient as possible for yourself. You want to set yourself up to succeed. This treadmill does that for me. The only two things you really need to focus on if buying a treadmill are you need it to be sturdy, so more high-end. The key to that is going to be buying a nice treadmill used on Facebook Market. There is nothing easier to buy used than a treadmill, I promise you that. You will find expensive treadmills for free on Facebook Market or Craigslist. Just spend a week or two looking, and I promise you something will come up. Anything by the brand True, the brand is called True, like this one, is going to be solid. The second thing you need to make sure you get is the ability for the treadmill to have an incline. Flat running is the highest impact type of running. It's very hard to learn that way because, when there's a little bit of an incline, it softens the impact on your feet and it sets you up for success. Start small, 0.1 miles barefoot on a treadmill, build up another 0.05 every day, so 0.1 miles, 0.15, 0.2, 0.25. Do that, and in a couple of weeks, you'll be up to a half mile or a mile, and then you will have an amazing practice in your back pocket, in your bedroom, that you can use to develop your mewing practice, and that you can use to set yourself up for a day flush with the happy chemicals that emerge from running, and also your body will be very grateful that you're feeding it with this activity that is so natural for us and so beneficial in an infinite number of ways that you can only really experience when you do it. I promise you that you are not living your optimal life if you are not exercising, and that there is no better exercise than running properly. Let me demonstrate how that's done. Let me start this thing up. It's already at a grade. The grade number is called 3.5 on this treadmill. It's pretty subtle. The grade goes all the way up to 12 or 15 on this treadmill. So this is just a slight grade. I usually start with a little bit of walking. I'm at 0.5 miles per hour right now. I kick that up to 2 miles per hour. Start doing my suction mewing. Focus on my shoulders. Start getting warmed up. In honestly, 30 seconds of this, and immediately I kick it up to 3.5 miles per hour. And what you're going to see is I'm not going to be breathing through my mouth at all when I run. I'm going to be breathing through my nose, except for when I talk to you. The other thing you're going to see is that my strides are very short, and that is because that is the lowest impact way to run. And what you'll see is that if you run barefoot, that is how your body is going to naturally run. If you run barefoot and you simply command your body to avoid pain, you will see that you develop this short stride type of running. The other thing you want to focus on is your mewing. You want to set up intraoral vacuum, as I've discussed in a prior video. You seal your lips, you gather all the spit, you gather, you swallow, the back of the tongue comes up, you make sure you're not choking yourself, and you hold the back of the tongue and the front of the tongue up with your lips sealed, using the intraoral vacuum to support that hold. And then you focus also on a Mackenzie chin tuck, but you don't overdo the Mackenzie chin tuck. You just make sure that you're not in a forward head posture while mewing, which is possible. You want to make sure there's some rigidity to your neck posture and that your shoulders are back. I'll demonstrate now. Going up to 3.5 miles per hour. Notice the short stride, very light on my feet, very low impact. The butt sticks out a little bit, the shoulders are back, and unless I'm talking to you, I'm breathing through my nose with an intraoral vacuum, a suction mew. Something you want to keep in mind when you're running is that you want to, as one writer put it, run within your breath, which is to say, you want to use your breath as a guide to how much you're exerting. If you're huffing and puffing, you're running too fast. You want to slow down. You want to be nose breathing and running within your breath. And you use your breath to bring ease and comfort to your body. You breathe in, and then you spread the breath to your arms and your legs, and you loosen your body. And you make sure that it feels good to be running. If it doesn't feel good, then you haven't quite made it yet. Because at its best, barefoot running feels pleasurable, not only in the endorphins and the happy chemicals that are released, but in the form itself. So you use pleasure as your guide, and you use breath as your guide into the pleasure to find your perfect running posture. And I'm not there yet, but running is a practice. Running is something that you develop, like mewing, for your lifetime. And it complements mewing perfectly, because while running, you must mew, or else you're not running right, and it's not going to be pleasurable. It's going to be high impact, it's going to be bumpy on the neck, And as your running practice develops, it will put a magnifying glass onto your mewing practice. It will force you to develop both simultaneously. And if it's the first thing you do in the morning, it's going to flush your mewing muscles with blood. It's going to loosen them up. It's going to bring them online. Your tongue, your neck, your face muscles. It's going to set you up for a day of much more effortless mewing throughout the rest of your activities. I can't think of a better way to start the day in general and also for mewing than with a short run like this. Nothing crazy, a half mile, a mile, and you build from there. But even a half mile is infinitely more than nothing. I can't recommend this enough. And that's my mewing hack for today. So if you like the video, please spike that like button. If you want more tips to adult orthodontics and mewing, subscribe. If you want to do a one-on-one consult to talk about your own mewing or adult orthodontic situation, visit my blog, www.ronaldeed.com. Sign up for a consult. Let me know if you have questions or comments, and I will talk to y'all next week. Be easy. One other thing I wanted to add is that when you're trying to learn a physical activity, any skill that involves the use of your body in a fine way, try not to be too intellectual about it. Instead, use what are called mirror neurons. Mirror neurons are structures in your body that allow you to simply watch someone do something and then mimic them. So with running, use your mirror neurons. Watch either me or someone who's much better than me run in this barefoot style. And then simply try to copy that. And that's going to be the best way for you to learn. Take advantage of your mirror neurons when trying to take on an activity like barefoot running. All right, peace.